What do actors and CEOs have in common? And no, this isn't a really bad joke. It's genuinely something that I sit with each week because I work across both. Hi, my name is Molly. I'm a voice and communications coach. Some weeks you will find me in rehearsal rooms, barefoot, on the floor with a load of actors doing voice work, text work, movement work. And in other weeks, you're going to find me in boardrooms and Zoom meetings with CEOs, C-suite professionals, and high performers preparing for career-changing pitches. And it always strikes me how insanely similar both of these two fields of people are. Their needs are very similar. The language used might be quite different. One talks about presence and story, and for the other it's more about strategy and delivery. But underneath it all, the muscle groups are exactly the same. We're working on things like presence, authority, authenticity, emotional range, confidence under pressure, and the ability to land meaning clearly and memorably. And that makes sense, because whether you're stepping into a casting room or whether you're stepping into a boardroom, they're both situations or environments where you're going to get judged, whether it's fair or not. It's where your body, your breath, your imagination, your ideas are under scrutiny in probably the first few seconds. So let's take a second to really break this down further and tell you why I think both of these groups are ultimately just performers. Actors rehearse. They don't just wing a scene. They explore their choices. They explore their tactics. They talk to a director about it. They talk to castmates about it. They warm up their bodies. They warm up their imagination. So they're fully present in that moment. CEOs may not call it a rehearsal, but they're doing basically the exact same thing. They prep the message the night before. They rehearse their tone and their pitching style. And they record themselves back to hear how it lands or what they might change in the messaging. Or the best leaders that I've coached do all of those things anyway. They're doing voice work. They just don't name it that. Both are trying to do something very human. How can I use my voice, use my body, connect as well as possible to my audience, to influence, to make an impact? Harvard Business Review has written extensively about how great leaders use storytelling, not just content, but vocal delivery and narrative framing to get a buy-in from their teams. That's voice work. That's literally just performance. Now, actors, especially the ones who aren't actually on a job at that time, still need that structure to keep them feeling like they're still actors. They want to keep their craft alive because acting in itself is more of a vocational thing. It's not a job where you feel like you're constantly booked all of the time. And that's why I run quarterly group actor training courses, 10-week sessions on either voice or accent. We alternate throughout the year. And we all revisit these voice foundations, these breath, these range and text. And it's a space where actors can stay really connected with one another, but also their craft and also their own bodies and their own instrument without needing to be in a full production to practice. Because when you graduate from drama school, the danger is that you're putting yourself in this position where you are relying on other people who don't know you to give you permission to act. And actors, just like leaders, lose touch with their voice if they haven't trained it for a while. They need to get used to being in a group environment where they're using it again with intention, even when they're not a part of a production. Now, if I compare that to my work with CEOs, the most common complaint I hear is, I know my stuff, but I don't feel like people will listen to me. So for this type of person, we will work on vocal grounding. We'll work on breath regulation in pressure. We'll have a look at speaking with varied pace and tone, owning the pause, making eye contact with intention. We might do something like GBA, ground, breath, articulate, just like I do with actors. We talk about vocal color and range, not for drama, but for impact, to sell, to mean something. Why was this conversation not an email? That's a huge topic I always talk about with my CEO clients. And the reason that distinguishes it from an email is all of these vocal delivery things. But the issue that most CEOs fall into versus actors is because we can't name it, so to speak, as performing, they feel like they get stuck in this rut and they end up just reading rather than making an impact, bringing intention behind it. So yes, actors and CEOs share a lot more than I think people give them credit for. And when I tell people about what I do and I talk about these different rooms I go into, I think there's a lot of pressure for me to niche down, to find one person that I want to speak to. But people don't quite realize and aren't educated on how both worlds inform each other for me as a coach, and also just how similar they both are. let's try something right now. So this is something that I could use with actors and CEOs. And this is a very quick way of finding this impact. So whether you're sitting right now, I want you to take a second to adjust so your feet feel the floor. My whole feet are on the floor. I then want you to imagine that at the back of the neck, I'm thinking about lengthening. So you can immediately see in this camera angle that I'm literally lengthening up here and how different it's been from this collapsed nature to here. This immediately allows me to breathe. It immediately makes me feel more powerful, and it immediately causes me to take up more space. Then try to speak a sentence nice and slowly. I believe in what I am saying. Now, let's try with a slight pause after believe. I believe in what I am saying. Let's try to put that pause after what? I believe in what I'm saying. Do you see how all I'm doing is adding pauses in? And right now, I'm not even thinking about where that pause should be, but it reads very differently as an audience. All I'm doing is thinking about actor techniques of taking space, breathing low, owning my voice, and adding in pauses. That is an exercise that actors will do from script first and CEOs need to do while thinking about their audience first. So you just saying that sentence right there immediately adds a little bit more impact. You've successfully found a little bit more grounding and you've successfully created emphasis and impact. I'd like you to watch the last recording of yourself, whether you're an actor and that's a self-tape or whether that is a presentation that you led. And I'd like you to genuinely ask yourself, what was my posture like? And what was my pause and pace like? Because most people I meet are rushing through everything. And for actors, are you pausing in those right places? Are you pausing when the thought ends? Or are you just sticking them in anywhere? This is all about trying to find vocal shape, voice training. So yeah, I think actors and CEOs have a lot more in common than we might originally think. Both are navigating performance, but just in very different costumes. Both are trying to be human in high-stakes environments, and both benefit enormously from voice work. Whether you are an actor, a professional, someone trying to find their voice again, I hope this video gave you a new frame. Remember that you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter by following the link in the description. Join the mailing list if you're an actor or anyone looking to be the first person caught up to date with new offerings, or you can click the link to my Skillshare courses where you can view online courses for totally free below. And yes, I work with one-to-one clients too. Just reach out, book a call with me, and I'll see how I can help you.